Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, it's not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Foundation Before the Message, Stephen Covey on Trust. Here we go. Think about the last time a conversation didn't land the way you intended. You said the right words, you had the data, you were prepared, and still the room didn't move. Most leaders chalk that up to delivery. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe people weren't ready. Here's what I've come to believe after years of coaching executives. The message wasn't the problem. The relationship underneath it was. Stephen Covey said it this way: trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. Not the most important strategy, not the most critical skill, the most essential ingredient. Covey wasn't writing poetry. He was describing the architecture of every effective organization. I've sat across from leaders who were frustrated that their teams weren't executing. They had clear goals. They ran strong meetings. They communicated consistently, and still the organization felt stuck. When we got honest about what was actually happening, it wasn't a communication problem. It was a trust problem. People weren't withholding effort because they didn't understand the direction. They were withholding because they didn't fully believe in the person giving it. That is a different problem, and it requires a different solution. Here's where most leaders get this wrong. They treat trust as an outcome of good results. If I hit the numbers, trust follows. If the project succeeds, credibility builds. And that's partially true. Results do matter. But what Covey is pointing to is something that operates before results. Trust is established in how you show up before the outcome is known. It's built in the small moments, the kept commitments, the honest conversations, the consistency between what you say in a meeting and what you do when the pressure is on. When leaders wait for results to build trust, they're building the house before the foundation. So here's the shift. Stop thinking of trust as something you earn over time. Start thinking of it as something you either protect or erode with every interaction. Every time you say one thing and do another, you make a small withdrawal. Every time you show up the same way in the hard moments as you do in the easy ones, you make a deposit. The account either grows or it depletes, and most leaders aren't paying close enough attention to the balance. Effective communication is a downstream result. It flows from trust that was already established. You don't get alignment by improving your messaging. You get it by being someone your people have reason to believe. Before your next high-stakes conversation, whether that's a difficult feedback conversation, a strategy rollout, or a team meeting where you need real buy-in, ask yourself one question. Has this person or this team experienced me as someone who keeps their word, tells the truth, and shows up consistently? If the honest answer is not fully, then your first job isn't to communicate better. Your first job is to rebuild what's missing. Trust doesn't repair itself, but it does respond to deliberate, consistent action. Covey called trust the glue. That framing matters. Glue doesn't create structure, it holds it together. You can have all the right pieces, all the right talent, all the right strategy, and if the glue isn't there, nothing holds. The leaders who build organizations that endure aren't the loudest communicators. They're the most trusted ones. Not because they're perfect, but because people know exactly who they are. That's the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it.